Hello Stampers, it's Debbie with Stamp It with Debbie, and I'm here today on Lunch and Learn. Today I have a Christmas card to share with you. Every Friday I'm sharing a Christmas card, and right now we have 10 Fridays until Christmas. So we're trying to get our Christmas cards all completed before the holidays get very hectic, and we're going to enjoy the holiday season this year. It's been a very hectic year, and let's just take some time to celebrate family and the season and not be stressed out by one more thing to do. So let's get our cards made. I'm going to show you a quick and easy layout today. I'm going to show you a couple alternate ideas with the same card. So if you're here watching, if you would just leave me a comment, let me know you're here. And if you're following on Facebook, go ahead and leave me a comment, share, and let your friends know about my page. That helps more people get to know it. If you're following on YouTube, look right below the video. There's a subscribe button. If you would click that, you'll never miss any of my videos and you'll get all of my ideas. So let's go ahead and get started. Today I'm going to be using Wrapped in Christmas and In the Pines. Now In the Pines you've seen me use before. There is a little season's greetings here. I just wanted to do something a little bit more than that for this card, so I'm using Wrapped in Christmas. And the stamp set that I'm going to use is It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year stamp, not stamp set, but there's lots of great greetings in this stamp set. I'm also going to be using the Tall Tidings. This is a carryover from last year, and if you missed it last year, Stampin' Out brought it back again this year, and it's fabulous. And this is one side, which is Garden Green. The back side is the same patterns, it's just real red. And I love this paper. It makes quick and simple cards. You could easily just cut a piece of this 4 by 5 1/4, add a little bit of ribbon and a greeting, and your cards are done because it's that gorgeous. I'm going to put my paper aside here. And grab the supplies that we need. We're going to use a piece of real red cardstock, cut it 4 1/4 by 11. I'm going to grab my bone folder. I've already scored it at 5 1/2. Now, I was thinking when I made this card, I wanted to show you a real quick tip. This doesn't have anything to do with making this card, but let me just show you real fast. If you have a whole bunch of cards that you're creating and you like to score them, now let's say this one, I'm going to make all my cards 4 1/4 by 11. I'm going to put this on the long way and I'm going to score it 5 1/2. Now, what that does, I'll go ahead and just score it. So I've scored that at 5 1/2. I'm going to grab my paper trimmer real quick. And now when I cut this at 4 1/4, both of my pieces are already scored. So I've scored once, and then I cut it, and then you can do the same thing if you want to make your cards at 4 by 5 1/4 instead. It's just a real quick and easy way to only have to score one time instead of doing twice as much work to get your cards done quickly. So again, we have our card base, and I have a piece of Whisper White. I cut the Whisper White to 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm not doing any stamping on this piece, so I'm going to go ahead and just attach that right to the front of my card. Now, I would say that this is kind of a middle of the road stamping. I'm going to show you two different styles of stamping and when we're finished here. This is a piece of the designer paper, that Tall Tidings, cut at 2 inches by 5 1/4. I have the 2 tree stamps, and then I also have these dies from the coordinating die set. I have a piece of Garden Green, and then I'm also going to use Shaded Spruce ink. Now I'm using Shaded Spruce because I want the trees to be a little bit darker on the paper, and you'll see when I stamp them. It's not too dark, just dark enough that it coordinates really well. So I'm going to stamp those 2 trees or 3 trees or whatever I want to do. And then I'm going to take this to the Big Shot and run those through. I already did it, so you didn't have to wait. And here they are. So I think the Shaded Spruce has a good coordinating color with the Garden Green. I'm going to bring my card back over. Now I did already do the stamping too. I actually forgot when I was creating the card and got a little ahead of myself. I used the stitch shapes, and this is the second from the smallest oval. I have 3 pieces right here of Real Red that are cut at 1/2 inch by about 3 inches. I'm going to take my trio punch here and I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to put, this can get a little tricky, I'm going to put that in there so that I can see how it's cutting the edge. Now, it's not perfect. I like it that it just makes a little different edge, but if you want to leave them square, you can leave them square. You could cut them at an angle if you wanted to. It does sometimes leave a little bit of a jagged edge, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that off. I think that I'll show you on this piece of paper. If we just cut them like this, I think that would look really cute too. But I just am always trying to do something a little bit different. And I thought if I rounded these edges a little bit, that would just be a little bit different. So if you want to leave yours square, you can leave them square. They're just kind of in the background anyways. So now I'm going to take these 3 pieces and I'm going to adhere them. I want them, they're not quite long enough to go all the way, so you can kind of lay it out and see what it's going to look like and how far they're going to hang over, and decide, do you want them to hang a little more to the right, to the left, to be centered. So I started with that one, and then I'm just going to kind of use that one to place my other 2. Hey, leave me a comment, you guys. Let me know. Are you traditional Christmas color, or do you like to kind of step outside of the traditional colors and do something else? Next week, I'm going to try to do something that's a little non-traditional, and non-traditional colors, I should say. And I'm going to be using the snowman stamp for my card next week. So watch for that. I am just putting these trees on with adhesive. I'm going to adhere my greeting with a couple dimensionals. When I do my cards, I do a lot of mixed up. So I do some that are traditional, some that are not so traditional. I just like to mix it up and do a little bit of everything. All right, now I'm using, have you seen these in the catalog? They're Wonderful Gems, and they are Wonderful Gems, but that's also their name. So these are Real Red. I believe they're Real Red. It doesn't tell me, but they look real red to me. These are clear, and they have little speckles of gold in them. They're super, super pretty. So I'm going to just put a couple of these up here. Now, if you wanted to keep your card a little more simple, you don't have to add those. So I'm just going to add a couple of those right there. Now, ways that you could step this up is you could take this really cute braided linen trim, make a bow. You could do a bow for both trees. You could do a bow for one tree. And we can put this right up here on top of the tree, and that would be really cute. You'd probably want to make it just a little bit smaller. and that would be one way to step that up. You could also put a little bit of the, I lost it now, my ribbon. This one here. This is the metallic mesh ribbon, and in the catalog, I believe they have it listed with the Halloween projects, but it actually is much more than just Halloween. So I've used it for a lot of everyday projects. I'm going to use it for Christmas projects, and you could put a little bit of that on this card too to step it up. But I want to show you, and take that ribbon off there, a couple ways that I made this a little bit simpler. Now, if you don't want to die cut a bunch of your pieces, you can cut a circle. So this is the same card layout. I just had it open this way. Same 4 by 5 1/4 for the white, 2 inches by 5 1/4 for the designer paper. I stamped my greeting here, and then I cut a stitch circle and stamped my trees right on there. So that's just a little simpler, but still beautiful along the same lines. Now, I wanted to step this up a little bit, and so I created this one. Now, this one I did eliminate the white background. I put 3 trees, and I don't know if you can see, but I did take, this stamp set has this little thing here, and I think it's kind of supposed to be snow, but I have been dotting it on the Christmas tree, and hopefully you can see that. I made some little red dots on the tree. I also used Wink of Stella on the trees to make them sparkle. I used some of those gold, these pieces here on this side, so they would add a little bit of gold accent. And then I used that ribbon that I just showed you, this one here, underneath, and I popped that up with dimensionals. I did also add 3 trees instead of 2. So you can see that it's basically one card layout, but 3 different card ideas. So which one is your favorite? I know that I did a survey earlier in the week to see if people were more of a casual stamper or more of an avid stamper. Which one of these is your favorite? And you know what? You could do a little bit of each to get your Christmas cards all created. And I think I'm up to about 20 cards, maybe 25. And I'm hoping to make many, many more. So I hope that you will join me over the next couple weeks in getting our cards done and having a stress-free holiday this year so we can really enjoy our family and our friends and make someone happy by dropping a card in the mail. If you like this video and you're new to watching me, don't forget to like or follow, and go ahead and leave me a comment and let me know that you were here today watching. I really appreciate it. Again, if you're following me on YouTube, you can also come on over to Facebook at facebook.com/stampitwithdebbie. And I look forward to seeing you in class again real soon. Have a great weekend.